What's up, everybody? Yeah. What's up, everybody? We got wow, Kelly girl, that girl, Soul for Music. It's good to see you. Norma Thomas, Jenna, Angelina ATF, Diane in Pennsylvania. It's very, very good to see you guys tonight. I definitely needed to hang out with some friends. Hey, Doodlebug. Definitely needed to hang out with some friends. Well, welcome, yo, Donna Marie. I'm glad you're here. Amanda, Texas gal. I gotta be honest with you guys, man. I don't know where this is gonna go. We've got definitely got some broken hearts here. Absolutely, definitely a lot of broken hearts. So hey, still here. Yeah. I shed a few tears myself, Angelina ATF. We're gonna talk about a few things, that's for sure. I've been kind of I thought that was an appropriate title, Mandy, Texas gal, only because today's been a long day, and it's been a hard day, and uh I know you guys have been in and out of all kinds of live streams from different creators all day long, and you must be fucking exhausted. I'm exhausted, and yeah, you guys must be worn out, man. I was listening to as much as I could, and yeah, you're right. Soul for music. That's definitely true. I was listening to as much as I could today, and um, but I was working too, and at my job, Monday evening is the busiest time of the week, bar none, hands down, the busiest time of the week. But the good thing about it is we're staffed very well on Mondays, so I was able to kind of um, pay some attention to what was happening. Hi, Audra O. Hi, Heidi Lee. I appreciate you guys joining. I'm sorry to hear that, Marie. Yeah, I definitely tried to keep myself busy. I decided to do something that I've never ever done before. Never by my own recognizance. Never just because. What's up, Jason? Hey, Sarah. Uh, so I don't know what it was. This case has been it's been exhausting, and it's all it is a development. There's so much more. Hey, Mignon. Um, there's so much more to come as far as this case goes, but uh I don't know. I mean, I could change my mind. I don't know, but honestly, right now, the way that I feel, I I I I, I feel like this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. Um, I think there are other very capable creators who are covering it, you know, abundantly. And so it doesn't really need my input any further. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But today I did something that I never did before, and I was trying to figure out, you know, you hear something like this about a kid who you've just been hoping and hoping and hoping is going to be okay. These missing cases are always tough, and this whole time, um, I'm live earlier, and I I felt I had reasons for streaming the press conference announcing Letitia's arrest, and so and I decided to. I got to a place in my head where I was just I couldn't figure out what to do with myself, and then I made this very strange sudden decision to fast for 24 hours. Now, I mean, no religious thing. Just I'm just not gonna eat. Uh, I'm drinking coffee, and I'm sticking to coffee and water, basically, just for energy, and so that I don't die of thirst. But I've never decided to do that on my own. I'm not of any particular religious faith, and for some reason, it just felt like the thing for me to do. I'm not saying anybody else should do it. I'm not even recommending that anybody else do it for any reason at all whatsoever. It was just something that, in the throes of all of my feelings that were being mixed, uh, yeah, I think that's probably you've got a good point there, Jason. You're saying my spirit is depleted. Gannon did not deserve this. God will deliver the punishment that Tisha deserves. I hope Gannon's spirit will haunt her every second. And you see how um, Jason's comment went from very, very calm or sad. It went from sad to it sinking in why he was sad to anger. And that's pretty much how I've been feeling all day. And and I and it's extremely accurate that one sentence there that Jason's got there that says that his spirit is depleted. That's how I felt. I felt like I had a moment where I needed to rejuvenate my spirit somehow, and it just came to me to, you know what, just to honor Gannon's memory. Uh, I'm just not gonna eat for 24 hours. Um, I know a lot of religions do that. I know that's a very common practice in religion, but I'm starting to understand why and where it comes from, to a certain degree, and because it really honestly feels like the right thing to do. It feels like the only thing that I can do. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I gotta tell you, it's not easy, and it's easy at the same time. It's easy to just, it's just easy to do whatever I need to do in that sense. It's like a no-brainer. It's got to be done. But then on the other hand, like, I'm really hungry. Um, and the ironic part is I told myself 24 hours, but in truth, it's been 24 hours since I last ate. But it doesn't count. I started it at 3 p.m. because it doesn't count unless it's from the time that I decided to observe this and do it in honor of Gannon and his memory. So that's what I decided to do, and that's what I'm doing. So if I seem a little depleted, as Jason put it, that it has a lot to do with just being very, very run down and very tired and very hungry. But uh, I'm sure that I'm sure I'll get my energy um, to discuss what we need to discuss here. Yeah, I thought about that too, sweet crazy. I thought about that too. But it's funny. I feel fine because it's it's not it's not the smartest thing to do to decide to do that and then to try to keep your mind off of it. Do a total of 15 miles on an elliptical bike. But what's odd is when I was doing it, it was a lot easier to focus on my thoughts and how I was feeling and to process them, which is the only reason I brought this up. And well, I'm drinking coffee, Michelle. So and I mean, it's not that serious. It's until tomorrow at 3 p.m. I mean, come on, people who starve last weeks. It's not that serious. So it's just something that I thought would be a spiritual gesture that I could make in memory of Gannon. That's all it was. So, but it has its positives. I'm dieting anyway, so but yeah, I'm only doing it for 24 hours. Soul for music. But um anyway, I know when it all happened so fast this morning. I woke up, I look at my phone, and actually someone in my group posted um the headline, posted the article. And then of course I got all over YouTube. Then I saw that Kay was live, and I watched that, and while she was live, actually, I went ahead and went live because someone else uh went live and it didn't work out for them. So I wanted to kind of be that backup for that. Hey, Save Robbie, what's up, buddy? Hey, Mojo Joe, click click boom. So, but while that was happening, I mean, that's when it was like really hitting me. Just the realization that Gannon is dead. It's been 5 weeks, and all of us have been so worried about him, and all of us have been blowing up these chats with these blue hearts, like Robbie is here, Doodlebug as well, and we've all been holding out so much hope. I know me personally, I can only really speak for myself, where I've really genuinely been holding out hope that he's out there and safe, being fed, that this was all just some strange attempt for I don't know what, but without being able to make sense of it. I mean, you can't make sense of that any more than an 11-year-old being murdered. But I'm sitting here and I'm trying to make sense of it all, and you know, and hoping that he's okay somewhere. And I've stated it before, when I think of him, I think of myself at 11 years old. I think of where I was. I think of the things that I was doing, the things that I was thinking about, how I was feeling, what my emotional state was generally at 11 years old. And it wasn't good. I was I was a very, very sad kid. Um, and I think that's a lot of the reason why I felt so I felt so strongly about this case. And hey, Lufa, I think that's why I felt so strongly about this case was I very much identified to this 11-year-old kid, and and I identified with him in ways that I'll never tell anyone here. Um, but I can guarantee you that his situation and who he was very much reminded me of myself at his age, and and so I had a very, very, very solid and snug place in my heart for him. And now that he's gone, and we know that he's gone, at least, I mean, he's been gone this entire time as far as in the physical sense. But now that we know that he's gone, I'm angry. I'm pissed off. Uh, and I think all of us are right now. And I think we've all been, to a certain degree. Just the fact that he's missing is enough to anger you. Uh, just the fact that we didn't know, just not knowing where he was is enough to anger everyone and to anger a lot of people. But now that we know more or less what happened, and now that we know who we suspected was responsible, is responsible. Now there is a good point. Someone I was in Kay's chat earlier. I don't know how many of you were, but I was in Kay's chat earlier, and she had a panelist that I believe was Tisha's neighbor. And I absolutely she, for being a person who was personally involved, even to a small degree, but for being a person who was personally involved with this family, she was incredibly insightful and very, very, very level-headed and rational in the way that she delivered her thoughts. She understood that she was on a platform. She understood that there were literally, I think there was like 700 people in that chat. So she understood this, and it was inspiring to hear her say things like, I am a believer in due process. Um, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. So let's keep that in mind, that this is just an arrest. There's still, there's still a conviction that has to take place here. And that's not to say that I don't believe that Tisha is guilty. I believe with all my heart that she is guilty. I've always believed that she was guilty. I just did not believe in focusing just on that one road under the possibility that we were all wrong, because there was always that possibility that we were all wrong. And since no one else is speaking up on that, I felt the need to do so, and I stand by it, and I don't regret it, and I would do it again. Having said that, now that I know that this person is responsible, um, I, I I've got a whirlwind of emotions going on inside me right now. And and yeah, you're gonna have to go to guys, if you want like detailed facts on this case. I want to be clear with you, you're not gonna get them here. uh I'm this live stream serves the purpose for all of us who have been following this case and who have been um following this particular development all day long and feel drained and exhausted the way that I do. uh this is just for us to kind of get together and breathe. This is just for us to talk about where we're at, how we feel, and and I'm not even sure how, I'm not even sure if I want to get into moving forward how we're gonna deal with it. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this conversation here. Um but yeah, I mentioned in case chat that that I'm and man, that was really nice. I mentioned in case chat that I don't I really feel this way. I don't think that I'm going to discuss on this channel open true crime cases. Nothing but bad has ever come from that. Nothing but bad has ever come from me having this channel and discussing these open cases with people. I always end up in a fight with somebody. I always end up feeling passionate about it, and I always end up getting into it with somebody else who feels passionate about it. And I'd much rather just simply, if I'm going to talk about these things, if I'm going to talk about this type of behavior that takes place in this crazy fucking world we live in, then I'm going to do it when it's all said and done. I'm not gonna get into it with speculation with people. I'm not gonna get into it with, I don't have it in me anymore, man. Like I just don't fucking have it in me anymore. Uh, it's fucking ridiculous and crazy how people behave, including myself. I'm not excluding myself from that, but it's crazy to me how fucking people behave when these things are going on. And frankly, it's discouraging. It's discouraging. It's discouraging when you're just doing everything you can to be positive. It's discouraging when you do everything you can to try to inspire everyone else to be positive and think on a positive think in a positive manner, when everybody's just fixated on thinking the worst. And yet they're verbally saying, no, we have hope, but they're saying something completely different. But they somehow justify saying that completely different thing with, we have hope. It happens too fucking often. And I don't have it in me, man. I don't have it in me, man. Like it's like hearing the same thing. It's like when people sit there and they go, with all due respect, and then they completely disrespect you, right? Or hearing somebody say, well, I'm not a homophobe, but and then they say the most fucking homophobic shit you've ever heard in your fucking life. That's what following this case has been for me this entire time. So I'd rather avoid that. I'd rather just avoid that whole thing in the future. I don't want to go through that shit with people anymore, man. I fucking can't do it. You know? So, now we got the issue with we don't even know where his body is. We don't even know we don't even have an admission for all we know. Maybe, I mean, we don't know if there's a confession yet. We don't know anything yet. For all we know, she's sitting in an interrogation room right now, confessing and spilling her guts, letting the police know, hopefully, where Gannon's body is. Hopefully. But like this person in case panel tonight, she was saying, let's try to focus on that still. Because I'm already in this, man. I'm already doing it, right? I'm already fucking doing it. So we gotta have hope. We still gotta have hope that at least Gannon will be brought home to his mother and father and sister, and they can have a proper burial for this young boy. Now we have to sit around and hope that these poor people get to bury their boy. And that angers me in a way that I can't even. It makes me so mad that I have to sit here and hope that this fucking asshole that has sat here and been an asshole this entire time and made an ass of herself and sat there and played games with us and played games with this boy's family, with his parents, that she'll at least have some little part of her soul that's good enough to let this family know where he is so that they can bury him, at least. This was a good kid. You know how I know that? Because I never met an 11-year-old who wasn't. He was a good kid. I mean, he he wasn't even in anything violent, man. When I was his age, man, I was into superheroes. I was into Thundercats and Silverhawks. I was into all kinds of things, man. I was into all kinds. I liked big, strong superheroes who beat everybody up. This kid liked a hedgehog that ran really fast. I mean, how do you get any more innocent than that? How do you get any more innocent than that? He liked the fucking hedgehog that runs really fast. You know what makes me so mad? You're not gonna believe this. You know what makes me so mad? More mad than anything is the little things. The fact that this movie just came out and he didn't even get a chance to see it. You know, I've in my darker days, I've been low enough to want to commit suicide. And it's been movies that I was looking forward to that actually kept me from doing it. Can you fucking believe that shit? That I'd be like, oh well, shit, they're making an Avengers movie. I can't. Yeah, I've been waiting my whole life for that shit. I can't. I have to see that. Always weird little things like that that makes me wanna, you know. And this kid didn't even get to see his favorite character, his favorite thing in the world, got its own movie, and he's missing on. He's missing, playing dead somewhere while it premieres. That's fucking infuriating to me. Like, I mean, there's a third Bill and Ted movie coming out, and it's all I can think about. And the fact that I would normally honestly just take for granted every single day up until that day it comes out and I get to see it. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is some cool stuff. I never got into Dragon Ball Z, but so yeah, hey Miss Jane. Yeah, so I'm really really upset about Gannon, and all I can think about are the things that he was robbed of. I mean, he was robbed of growing up. He was robbed of having his first girlfriend. Uh, he was robbed of making a friend, a true friend that is, you know, as you guys like to put it, ride or die. You know, somebody's gonna back up no matter what. Somebody who's not blood is robbed of experiencing this. He's robbed of contributing who knows what to this fucked up world. This is someone who defied death at birth. Kid weighed a pound when he was born. You imagine that? Kid weighed a pound when he was born. Nobody thought he was gonna live. And he overcame every complication, managed every complication the best he could up until 11 years old. Nobody thought that was gonna happen. You imagine his family who saw this every day and thought this kid is meant for something great. This kid should have never survived birth. His mother, Landon, must have just been convinced that he was meant for something great. Not this. Not this. I don't know, man. Uh, Yeah, I try to convince myself of that too. I try to convince myself of that too. And one might think that the positive things here is, this petition, change the laws. Maybe this will bring awareness to other situations, and maybe you know maybe this all uh is prelude to other kids not having to suffer or go through what he went through. But why do you have to die for that? You know what I'm saying? I'm pissed off that he had to die for that. I'm sad and I'm angry that he had to die for that. Yeah, Breakfast Club. That's it's an excellent way to put that. Like he was winning. He was winning, and then somebody had to come along and just fucking cut his legs out from under him like that. Not only was he robbed of all these beautiful experiences that all of us, I don't care who you are, all of us take for granted every day. We might take a moment and reflect, but it's just in our nature. We take these things for granted. We take every day for granted. So not only was he robbed of all these beautiful experiences, but the world was robbed of what he had to offer. We were robbed of what he had to offer. We were robbed of an environment that he could have had a beautiful contribution to. Thank you, Lufa. Have a good night. I let you guys kind of talk and chat there for a second. And yeah, I'm pretty convinced. I'm gonna go ahead and admit that I'm pretty convinced that Tisha is just an abusive person by nature. Uh, and yeah, I definitely think it was premeditated. What I think happened, my theory is basically that the night that she made this accidental recording, the night that she made that accidental recording, uh, that wasn't an accidental recording, obviously, and something happened. something very bad happened. Something where she was leading him. You could tell by the way she was talking to him and leading him, and he was just so scared, saying, "Yeah, okay," while he was crying hysterically. Um, and I didn't hear pain in his voice the way a lot of people said that they did. Not physical pain anyway. I was hearing the crying of someone who was in fear. I think he was very, very afraid. And um and I think her trying to videotape whatever she's doing, that comes from the same twisted mind that thinks for some reason it's helpful to her to go on social media and run her mouth and say stupid fucking shit constantly. And well, the thing is, it's audio. So she was like video. It was like video that she took Breakfast Club, but you can only hear audio. You can't see anything because I guess she had the phone in her pocket or something. I don't know. But you can hear this boy, and he's afraid. He's afraid, and he. I think what happened was she disciplined him, uh, and it went too far. And here's the thing about that. I want to say something about that. You know, when I say a beating went too far, any beating is already too far. Anything anyway, when you lay your hands on somebody out of anger, it's gone too far. There's no excuse for putting your hands on other people. There's definitely no excuse on in putting your hands on a child when you're angry that way. There's just no excuse for that at all. Um, and yeah, guys, thanks. I appreciate the super chats. Thank you. Um, but there's definitely no excuse for putting your hands on a child. And I'm not going to get into this whole thing about whether or not spanking your kids is right. Personally, I don't think a step parent ever has the right to put their hands on a kid for any reason at all. I just don't. I think that's a maternal thing when you decide to discipline your children that way. I'm not going to get into whether or not I think it's right for spanking's right or spanking's wrong. I'm not getting into that. But you know, how people raise their kids is how people raise their kids. People have always done it. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm not about to tell anybody how to raise their kids unless it's coming from a place of irrationality and abuse. But I genuinely think that she had a contempt, if not hatred, for Gannon, and her rage got the best of her, and she beat him, and she probably left a mark somehow. Maybe he got cut. Maybe I don't know, something that she couldn't cover up, something that she couldn't lie about, and there's something that she was never ever going to get him to be able to lie about. And and uh, and I think that in a panic, she thought the solution was to kill him and get rid of his body and make it seem like he ran away. And if they ever found his body, that if that it was a runaway gone wrong, somebody picked him up and hurt him, but it wasn't her. I think that was her plan. I think that's what she did, and she was so oblivious to herself that she missed the fact that everyone was going to look at her irrational behavior the entire time and look at her and blame her. So yes, I agree with you, Miss Jane. Yeah, I'm very, very upset about that. But this boy is this boy is a victim of abuse. I'm quite certain of that. You could tell by the way that Tisha spoke to her daughter in that video. I think that her daughter feared her or fears her currently, present tense. And yeah, I think that's what happened. I think that she because, and I'm talking based on the video. If the video is correct, or the surveillance, I mean, from the neighbor, if the surveillance video from the neighbor is correct, then he wasn't killed at home. But I doubt that surveillance video to a certain degree. That surveillance video is not clear. And I've always said that. I don't see, we don't see anyone clearly in that video. So there's, yeah, darling Nikki, and everything, and everything that she says is all herself. Thank you, Just John. Thank you. Yeah, I don't put a lot of clout into that video, to be honest. I never have. There's nothing on there that proves anything, except for that red truck. So it's super grainy. You can't see who that actually is in the video. Someone in Kay's chat earlier mentioned that it was actually her panelist that's mentioned that there's the possibility that it was actually Harley. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, the thing is I'm not going to drive myself crazy trying to figure this out, because we're not going to see an arrest affidavit. That's going to be closed. It's already closed, and it's going to stay closed for at least a long time, at least after this case is totally closed. So I'm not going to rack my brain trying to figure out what happened. So it makes no sense to do it, because I'm not going to get any closure anytime soon. And it's not going to bring Gannon back. And now more than ever, it is on us to do nothing but try to give positive support to Gannon's family, and allow law enforcement to do their jobs. I think that's all we can logically do right now. So, I mean, obviously, we're going to follow the case to see what kind of developments we get, but I'm not gonna sit here and rack my brain trying to make sense of what happened. The fact of the matter is he had a shitbag for a stepmother. She's responsible for his death, and he's not coming back. And now I just hope that she gets what she deserves for it. And what is that exactly? What do you get? What do you deserve for something like that? Because in all fairness, lacking the imagination to comprehend why something like this would happen to a boy like Gannon, it also goes the other way too. I can't imagine the proper justice for what should happen to the person responsible. I can't visualize it. I can't process it. So Yeah, you know, and I'm not, I I don't want to hear any of this bullshit because I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna fucking happen. Now everybody's gonna sit here. The next thing that's gonna come, mark my words. The next thing that's gonna come is people trying to analyze Tisha psychologically. Everyone's going to try to make sense of her behavior. Everybody's going to try to say, they're going to start with their fucking, you know, uh, serial box degree fucking diagnosis of what's going on with her. And man, I'm not fucking interested. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. This is not this is not a woman who therapy would even help. This is a woman who is completely and totally she's just completely and totally in her own little world where she justifies her actions and gets to do whatever she wants and somehow sees herself above it all. That's what I see in this person. I don't see a sick person who needs help. Gannon needed help from her. I see a person that has absolutely no fucking business sharing the same streets that I walk on. I see a person who has no fucking business eating in the same eating the same food I get to eat. Sitting around the type of company that I would keep. This is a person who does not deserve to be where I am or anybody like me is. That's what I see when I look at her. I don't see a person who needs help. I see a person that if you tried to help her, she would manipulate you and take advantage of you for having the heart of someone who wants to help her. She would take that and use that to benefit herself, and it would feed her evil. Your goodness and your want to be helpful towards her and be empathetic towards her would feed her monster. That's the type of person I see when I look at her. And I don't think sometimes people just got to be put the fuck away. Sometimes people can be helped. Other times it's not because they need help. It's just because they're fucked up, shitty people and they need to be put the fuck down. Muna, they're not gonna find him alive. She's been charged with murder. Tisha's been charged with murder. So that would tell me after 5 weeks that they've collected enough evidence to know that he is dead. To have every reason to believe that he is dead, because they would not arrest somebody unless they were sure that they could get a conviction. So I feel bad for law enforcement. I feel bad for law enforcement. I feel bad for these detectives that are in charge of having to look her in the eye and sit in the same room with her and listen to her lie minute after minute after minute after minute after minute and put them and have them chasing their tails. I'm angry for law enforcement right now and those members of law enforcement that are dealing with this. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, yo, let's take a second and appreciate the kind of shit that law enforcement puts up with in cases like this. Let's take a second and appreciate that. Can you imagine having to sit across from that piece of shit and having to acknowledge her right to live? I mean, well, she's going to claim that her cops, but the thing is what I love about that, Miss Jane, what I love about that little fact right there is what that tells me. What that tells me is one of the benefits of her running her mouth the way that she did, like she did in that interview, and running her mouth, her stupid fucking mouth, and saying, that the cops violated her rights and did it on television. I can guarantee you that right now they are doing everything by the book. 150%. Those cops right now are not skipping a beat. They are making sure that she is treated right, fairly. She is, because she's not going to give any defense attorney, she's not going to give them any leverage to try to throw in court. So now we already know what she's capable of. We already know that she's the type to claim harassment or to say that her rights were violated. We already know that she's going to try to play that card because she already did. She did it before she was even under arrest. So now we know that she's capable of that. So I guarantee you that law enforcement right now is simply just playing it totally by the book and crossing their T's and dotting their I's. I guarantee you. No, she'll definitely lawyer up Nanny Love. And what I fear is something that Caleb mentioned when I was live earlier today. Um, Caleb had mentioned that he thinks what's going to happen is that she is going to uh, use the location of Gannon's body, or at least the information as to what she did with it, as leverage for a lighter sentence. I'm not an attorney. I don't know what her chances are with that. I don't know if she'll even do that. But that's something that I definitely would not put past her. That's something that I definitely would not put past a piece of shit like this. Well, she's not going to enjoy any bit of this drama coverage, Jane B, because she's already cut off from the world. She's in jail, period. She's in jail. She's not getting out of jail. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Uh, and I guarantee you they got her on suicide watch. I guarantee you that, because somebody as narcissist, well, I don't think she's narcissistic. I don't think that she's a narcissist, but someone as attention craving as her, and someone as quick to make herself out to be a victim, is definitely the type of personality that would at least threaten suicide, if not attempt it, in order to victimize herself in this entire scenario. Like, I don't even think that she can face the fact to herself that she is a murderer, much less a child murderer. I don't think that she's even like grasped that herself. I think that somehow she's convinced herself otherwise, or somehow has uh justified her actions. Because everything that she says when she goes public, everything that she says is in some form of justifying her actions. It's always in some form of that. Uh always becomes about her and always how somebody is hurting her in some way. So this is what we're gonna get from her, you know. But she's not hearing what the hell's going on here. She's not gonna get any more pleasure out of all this attention that she's been getting. That's gonna drive her crazy. And yeah, and the fact that she demanded an apology was outrageous. She had the audacity to demand an apology. Um, all I know is all I know is she is. I don't see any scenario where she's going to see the light of day. Uh, I mean, who knows? Maybe she can afford a good lawyer. Who knows? And I'm not going to sit here and say, and I understand the strong feelings, cray cray. I understand that. I'm sharing those strong feelings too, but I'm not going to bring myself to a low point myself personally. I'm not going to lower myself to starting to wish horrible things to happen to her. But that's where faith comes in. And whatever you choose to have faith in, I have faith that she will receive justice. Um, However it may be, however the universe chooses to hand out that justice, she's gonna get it. Whether it's spending her life in prison or whether it's getting shanked by a fellow inmate, who knows? Whatever. That's not up for me to decide. That's not even up for me to wish for. All I care about right now is that justice is served. And I feel that way for the sake of Gannon's family. Anything that helps them feel closure, I want for them. Anything. Yeah, I agree with that, Jenna. I actually agree with you there. Like, I mean, aside from the fact that she's a child killer, uh, yeah, that's if anybody decides to befriend her in that environment, because let me tell you something, uh, I don't see a lot of women in women in prison taking too kindly to what this woman is charged with. So, uh, you know, yeah, I'm not seeing her making many friends at all with that kind of charge. Because you got a shit ton of women in there who feel as though they've been taken away from their own children, and they would give anything to be reunited with those children. I promise you, you've got a lot of those types in there, and I don't think that they're going to take too kindly to her, especially being a stepmom. Especially, you know what she is to those other women? She's the other woman. She's the other woman. She's the woman that they're in prison and they can't do anything about the fact that their man is with right now while they're in prison. She's that other woman. She represents them to them. That's who she represents her to them. Uh yeah, man. The more I think about it, yeah, she's not she's not gonna have a fun time in there. She's not gonna have a fun time in there. So Love you too. Thanks, thanks, Joan. Um, so I was gonna get into this thing about child abuse. Uh, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think we all feel pretty much the same way about it. I don't think there's any need for me to go on a rant about it. And the truth is I'm just too fucking tired. I'm angry. I'm tired of being angry today. Uh, and and I hope I was able to at least I was able to verbally get off my chest how I was feeling and how all my emotions were stirring up today. And um, so I hope you guys were who are in the chat here. I hope you guys were able to, because I wanted this to be something where you just kind of escape all the speculation and everything and just kind of focus on how we're feeling about everything right now. And I hope I was able to provide you with a place to do that because I needed that. So I really hope that you guys found that here, uh, at least a little bit, maybe. Um, Having this chat means everything to me. So I really appreciate you guys, and all the new subscribers too. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. So um thanks for logging on, Tanjay. I appreciate that. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night, but I really appreciate you guys keeping me company and listening to me express my feelings aloud like this. And yes, Miss Jane, I am looking forward to justice for Gannon as well. I think we all are, and and I think it's important for us to try to stay as positive as we can, despite uh, this outcome today. Um, Now it's on to the next thing, right? It's on to the next thing. The next thing is finding Gannon so that his family can bury him properly, and making sure that Tisha never sees the light of day again, and whoever else could or may be responsible. I will get into this though, real quick. That actually made me think of something. There's a lot of talk that Harley may be an accomplice. As far as I'm concerned, even if that is the case, I want to be very, very clear as to my opinion on that. If she was Tisha's accomplice in this crime, she is still a victim. She is a minor, and you can tell that she is afraid. We saw with our own eyes and heard with our own ears that Harley is afraid of her mother. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that she should go unpunished. That's not to say that justice should not take place when it comes to her as well. But I want to keep in mind, I want to make it clear that obviously I don't think that it came from the malicious place that it came from Tisha. So she should definitely be punished accordingly to the severity of her involvement. So absolutely. So I'm not saying that she's a victim and she should walk free, but I am saying that if she did have a hand in this, whatever her involvement was, her punishment should coincide with the severity of her involvement, and the level of her involvement. So, um, And I just hope, I hope that that's not the case. I hope that she has maintained her innocence. She's 17 years old. She also has her entire life ahead of her. And just the thought of this woman, I keep coming to this place where I keep realizing the amount of lives that this woman has ruined. Anyway, yeah, she. I hope that I hope that Harley had nothing to do with it, and she continues to live her life and have her whole life ahead of her, despite all of this. But anyways, guys, thanks for logging on. I will see you guys very soon.